Good afternoon, students. Today we will see about congestive cardiac failure. Other names of this disease we can be considered as congestive heart failure or heart failure. So heart failure, it doesn't mean that heart stop working, but rather it means that heart is not enough pumping power to the meet the demands of individuals, or in other words, heart does not have pumping power which is weaker than the normal person of same age and same biological characteristics. With heart failure, we understand that blood moves through the heart and the body at slower rate, and pressures in the heart increases. As a result, heart cannot pump enough oxygen and nutrients to meet the body's need. That will be understanding in a layman term. If you understanding about its definition, so heart failure describes the clinical syndromes that develop when heart cannot maintain the adequate cardiac output. So the heart pump blood inadequately, leading to reduce the blood flow and backup or congestions of the blood in the veins and the lungs, and other changes that may further weaken the function of heart. That will be considered as your heart failure or congestive heart failure, which can be divided in the two different types. That can be either a right sided heart failure and left sided heart failure, or it is also called as the diastolic heart failure, that is inability to relax the heart, and systolic heart failure, that inability to contract the heart musculature. So if you see the depth of that right sided heart failure, so the right ventricle loses its pumping function and blood may back up into the other areas of the body and producing congestion. Especially we see that right ventricle is not working well and not able to push the blood inside the pulmonary circulation. Then congestions of the blood in the right ventricle will lead to congestions over the right atrium, then ultimately over the other structure like superior vena cava, inferior vena cava and other structure, and producing the congestion which does not allow heart to pump the blood in the pulmonary circulation. Left sided heart failure, it means inability of the left heart to maintain its circulatory load with corresponding rise in the pressures in the pulmonary circulation, usually with the pulmonary congestions, and ultimately develop the pulmonary edema. It means whenever the left ventricle is not able to push up the blood in the aorta or circulatory circulation, and because of that congestion occurs in the left ventricle, and beyond that over a period of time it develops congestions in the left atrium, and ultimately in left atrium it's getting pressure is getting back reflected in the pulmonary vasculature and ultimately on the lungs, and patient is developing pulmonary edema also in the left sided heart. Now if you see the other classification, that is diagnostic heart failure. So diastolic functions refers to as the abnormality in the heart will with the blood during the diastole, and the heart muscle do not go for complete relaxation or complete diastole in a normal manner, and the heart may feel too slowly and asynchronized in manner with an elevations of filling pressures only, which is known as diastolic heart failure, because heart is not getting completely diastole or relax. Systolic heart failure, so it is here the left ventricle loses its ability to contract normally, then heart cannot be pumped with enough force to push the blood in the systemic circulations, and because of that the back pressures will be generated on the left ventricle, and left ventricle is slowly progressing to the left atrium and over the pulmonary circulation from where the blood is getting from the lungs, and over period of time the congestions keep on increasing inside the pulmonary systems and ultimately producing pulmonary edema or pulmonary congestions. That is why it is called as congestive heart failure. Now what are the responsible causes for the same? So there are major three causes, which includes about coronary artery disease, number 2 is heart attack, and number 3 is cardiomyopathy. So we'll see each one in detail that how it is affecting. So coronary artery disease is a disease of the arteries that supplies the blood and oxygen along with the nutrient to the heart and causes the decrease in the blood flow to the heart muscles, and if the arteries become blocked severely or narrowed and the heart become starved for the oxygens and nutrients, which leads to ultimately development of heart failure. The heart attack all of a sudden occurs when the coronary artery becomes suddenly blocked or stopping the blood flow to the heart muscles, and heart attack may damage the heart muscles resulting in that particular area does not function properly. The third one is cardiomyopathy. Damage to the heart muscles that is occurs from other than the arterial blood flow supplies, such as the infections, alcohol and drug abuse. Other conditions which increase the overwork of the heart, which include about high blood pressures, valvular disease, thyroid disease, kidney disease, diabetes and congenital heart disease, which ultimately help. Other risk factors which include for the development of this congestive heart failure include coronary artery disease, myocardial infarction, diabetes, smoking, obesity, and previous history of heart attack, cardiomyopathies, infectious disease to the wall of the heart, conduction defect, and large amount of salt intake in diet. These are the risk factor of congestive heart failures. If you see the heart failure depends on the side. So left ventricular failure is happening because of ischemic disease, myocarditis, valvular heart disease and restrictive pericarditis, while right ventricular failure is happening because of cor pulmonale, right-sided valvular disease, right-sided myocardial disease and pulmonary hypertension. So all of this together combinedly producing three different compensatory mechanisms which ultimately going for development of congestive heart failure. So we'll see each one in detail. So first mechanism is activations of renin, angiotensin, aldosterone mechanisms, which will ultimately increasing the sodium and water retention in the body, which further stress on the myocardium and going to develop your congestive heart failure. The other mechanism second is activation of non-epinephrine atrial natriuretic peptide, which ultimately responsible for development of tachycardia, and prolonged tachycardia will have further stress on the myocardium and going to develop your congestive heart failure. The third mechanism is increase in the myocardial contractibility, which increasing ultimately the cardiac workload and ultimately going for the cell stretching on the myocardium, and which going to develop a compensatory hypertrophy and dilatations of the myocardium, which again go for congestive heart failure. Now we will see that how this angiotensin mechanism works. So whenever in the increase in the blood pressure will lead to decrease in the blood flow to the kidney, and which ultimately releasing the renin in the blood, and will renin with the help of renin this angiotensin will convert into the angiotensin 1, and angiotensin 1 will convert into the angiotensin 2 with the help of ACE, that is angiotensin converting enzyme, and this angiotensin 2 will produce two kind of effect. One, it will produce the aldosterone, and which will help to increase sodium and water retention in the body and decrease the potassium or loss of the potassium will happen, and vasoconstrictions of the blood vessel will lead to increase the preload and afterload over the myocardium, and ultimately going for the development of congestive heart failure, either because of increase in the blood supply or either three mechanism this will happen to development of congestive heart failure. Now if we see the clinical manifestation, so in case of the left sided heart failure you will have a certain amount of features. First one will be there will be a paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, that is dyspnea in the night, elevated pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, then pulmonary congestion which ultimately producing cough, crackles, wheeze, blood tinged sputum, and tachypnea, that is increase in the respiratory rate. Restlessness, confusion, orthopnea, tachycardia, exertional dyspnea, and fatigue, along with development of cyanosis in the nail beds and the uh, upper lip and lower lip and oral mucosa. In case of development of the right side of the failure or cop pulmonale, then there will be a certain amount of clinical features and manifestation will be seen, which include it may be secondary due to the chronic pulmonary problems, which will have a distended jugular veins or distended jugular veins, anorexia, complaints of GI distress, weight gain and dependent edema, fatigue, increase in the peripheral venous pressure, ascites, that is collection of the fluid inside the abdominal cavity, and enlarged liver and spleen. These are the features associated with the right sided heart failure or cor pulmonale. This is how the right side and the left side of the heart failure will have a symptoms and clinical manifestations. The next class we will see about the physical examination and lab investigations for the same.